Hello, everyone. In our parsha, Bilam quotes the king Balak as having commanded him, "Lecha orali Yaakov." I want you to go curse Jacob, the Jewish people, for me. And Bilam then responds to this mandate by saying, "Mo ekov lo kabo kel." How can I curse those whom God does not want cursed? In other words, in this retort, we find the use of a second language that in English would be translated as curse. Yet one wonders why the verbiage is changed by Bilam from ara to kaba. What's the difference between them? So the Kli Yakar tells us that the language of ara is a stronger sense of curse than kaba. In other words, what Bilam is saying is, Balak commanded me to give the strongest of curses, Lecha arali Yaakov, but in the form of a kal v'chomer, an a priori argument, says the Kli Yakar. Bilam responds to Balak by saying, Ma'ekov lo kabo kel, even the lighter, lesser sense of curse is beyond me if it's not the will of God, and you want me to go even more than that? If I can't even go to the lower level of kaba, how am I supposed to fulfill your mandate of lecha arali Yaakov? That's how the Kli Yakar himself understands the reasoning and response of Bilam to Balak's demand. However, he notes that Rashi, somewhat based on the Medrash, explains the difference in terms between ara and kaba in the exact opposite manner. Rashi understands that the stronger language is kaba, in which case Bilam's response makes no sense. If all that Balak wanted was a lower level of curse, Lecha arali Yaakov, then what is Bilam's response? Well, I can't do the higher level of cursing of kaba. He wasn't asked to do that. So rather, the Kli Yakar tries to understand what would Rashi's response be to the demand of Balak. And he says that in essence, it has nothing to do with the command per se of the king of Moab, but rather what Bilam is responding is the Jewish people can't be cursed. Any other nation, when misfortune overwhelms them, they turn to their leadership or to their deities and they blame it all on them and they curse them. Look what our king brought upon us. Look what our idol, our God, brought upon us. But Mo'ekov, how can I, Bilam, curse a people that lo kabo kel, that even when calamity and misfortune overtakes them, they don't lay the blame on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They understand that whatever God does, whatever is the divine will, is all for the best, even if in the interim they must suffer. So it has nothing to do with the language of kabo being stronger or weaker than ara. You want me to curse them on whatever level? Can't happen. Just like Kishem shemevarchim al atov, kach mevarchim al ara is fulfilled by the Jewish people, then the reverse also holds true. That Kishem shemevarchim al ara, God looks at the Jewish people and says, as they accept my will, even when it is temporarily to their detriment, then kach mevarchin al atov, they should have the opportunity to bless me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when things go well for them. Halavai, that we should learn in our own personal and communal lives to accept that kol ma'ada ovid rachmana l'tav ovid. Everything that God brings about for us is ultimately for our own good. Shabbat Shalom.